In this video, we'll have a look at creating summary totals for a fixed footer in a list control based on client-side calculated columns within that list control. So we'll just have a quick look at what this looks like first. So here's our list. I've got it based on the customer table, and I've got a field coming from my customer table called customer amount, and I'm calculating tax and total on client side. And here's my fixed footer down at the bottom, and you can see it's got values as well. Now these values are not summary values. These calculated values, not summary values of tax and total. So I don't know how much difference that's going to make, but rather these this tax and total are calculated values based on the customer amount. Now the customer amount is a summary total because we've got that actual data to work with, but the again, the totals for tax and total are not. So let's have a quick look to see how we did that. So let's get into the list control, into properties, and into the computed columns. So here we've got computed columns, and we're forcing this into a number. So we've got data.customer amount, so that's my real data, times 13%, which is the tax, and we're limiting that to 2 decimal places. And then we've got a total, which is again the data customer amount plus the tax amount, and again to 2 decimal places. So that's our tax and our total being calculated. But again, the trick is how do we get that into summary values? And what we're going to have a look at up here is our fixed footer plus some other information in the list itself. So let's first pop into list events. So here we've got our after client side summary compute, where we've actually got the values for the summary information on the customer amount. Let me just pop back here again quickly into fields customer amount, and you can see I've asked for compute summary values on this. And so now let's go back here and pop into our list events. So we've got the client side summary value coming in for total. So we grab dot total and we stuff that in there. And now we just create another variable, tax total, which is our amount times our 13%. And then we take our tax total and we make it 2 decimal points. And then total with tax is our amount total that we've calculated, that we've grabbed from the summary rather, plus the tax total. So now we've got that, and now we're going to take all those 3 amounts and we're going to stuff them out into some IDs that we've created in the footer itself. So we've got our amount total, tax total, and total with tax, and we're putting them into inner HTMLs. And you can do anything else here you want. You can format them anywhere you want and then push them out. For example, $signs, which I haven't done here. So now let's go and have a look at the fixed footer HTML. I put it in a table. Probably doesn't need to be that way. Probably not good to be that way, but it just allowed me to have a really good look at what's going on here. So a table, and here are all the lines. Well, I know I've got 5 columns in my table, in my list rather. So there we are, 0 to 4. And so what we're going to do here, I'll talk about the class in a minute, but we're going to text align left, put our value of summary totals in there for just a description of the line. And so that's going to be in the first column. The second column, I don't care anything about. I'm not putting anything in there. The third column, and remember we're 0 based here, and we'll talk about class in a sec. So our third one is text align right, text align right, text align right. So that's third, fourth, and fifth columns, or if you're 0 based, second, third, and fourth columns. And there's nothing in here because we're putting in the inner HTML ourselves anyway. Now, the class. How do we get this stuff to line up nicely? Because it is lined up nicely and I'm not doing it. What I'm doing is I'm taking the class from each one of these columns, and the class is defined as this. Now the only thing I haven't figured out, this will be part 2 of this video, is how this class gets defined. I know that's the class that's in each column, and this class helps define what the width of each column is. So I'm stealing that from my rendered stuff and putting it into my table here so that everything will be laid out quite nicely. I just have to figure out how I can do this on the fly because I don't get to use any JavaScript in here that I know of. Of course, anything's possible. Anyway, so that's column 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This lays out everything really nicely, so everything's lined up properly. Text align right this stuff, and that's it. It's really kind of straightforward. Putting your calculations into the query statement, of course, will be a lot easier. Then you don't have to do anything, and you can have your calcs coming out. But at the end of the day, you're still going to have to do something like this because you're going to have to put your calculated values in here somehow. So really, it's kind of six one, half dozen of the other when you think about it. The fields and the list events, you're still going to have to grab your summary values from here and push them out. Anyway, I hope that helps a bit, and I'll come back and see how we can automatically or dynamically grab that class when we need it. Thanks for having a look.